And we're live on a special day. I'm back. I'm not in too much pain.
Special episode for us.
Super special. I have been trying to get this guest out for since the beginning of the show. I've known him for, like we were talking before the show, good 14 years, I think now. He's a good friend, good mentor to everyone in the paranormal field. He's been doing it for more than 50 years now, so I don't think he needs much of an introduction, right, Russ?
Not at all. Let's bring him right on.
He is the godfather of the paranormal, the one and only John Zaffis.
Hey, guys.
How are you, Mr. John?
Doing good.
Oh, as I used to say, Uncle Johnny to me.
Yeah, I just got ready to say that to you. I said, what happened? All of a sudden you stopped calling me Uncle Johnny.
Funny story, at Michigan last August, he goes up to me, he goes, stop calling me John, just call me Uncle Johnny by this time now. I'm like, okay, Uncle Johnny.
Yeah, what really drives me crazy is people I've known for years still will say Mr. Zaffis. I go, I'm not Mr. Zaffis. Mr. Zaffis was my father. He passed away. I'm Johnny.
We had beers together at the Plymouth Paracon, and I still call you Mr. Zaffis.
I still do it, and then I have to think to myself now, I'm like, oh, it's Uncle Johnny now.
If you don't stick to that, I'll get your mother after you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a whole funny story from Michigan while we were waiting for food and drinks and everything.
Johnny, you make sure to do that when it's at Gettysburg so I can film it.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah. That would definitely be good. Because she's watching. She's there. Hi.
She's always watching.
Of course she does. Look what I got.
It's the Furby.
It's the Furby.
We'll talk more about that later, but that's a fun story in itself from 12 years ago.
Yeah, I have questions about the Furby.
I'm hoping the person who owned it before John was given it is going to hop on the show in the chat soon, hopefully. But we all know how you got started in the paranormal field over 50 years ago.
If you haven't lived under a rock.
Yeah, if you haven't lived under a rock, give us a quick overglance of how you got into it for people.
I was just getting ready to say to you, you'd be surprised.
Give us the Cliff Notes.
Yeah, Cliff Notes.
Cliff Notes.
Since the 51 years into like.
I've learned over the years to be able to condense that bad boy. Ed and Lorraine Warren were my aunt and uncle. Ed was my mom's twin brother. They lived about 20 minutes north of us in the 3 different locations we lived in. And when I was around 15, 16 years old, I used to bring dishes up to them. My mom would make things. She'd go, take it up to my brother. So I'd go bring it up, and they'd go, oh, we're going, here, we're going there. I'd jump in the car. I'd go with them different places and get exposed to a lot of different things. And when I was in my 20s is when I really, started getting involved with the work. That's what opened it up a lot, I think, with me to get me more involved with it was the fact of, going with them, oh, we're going to go do something. You didn't know what those two were going to be involved with. Seriously. I mean, I went to a Buddhist exorcism, regular exorcisms, I got to see Native American shaman things. And okay, there you go. That's Reverend Jun there. That's Bishop McKenna. And that's Ed. Exposed to all those different things. Mm-hmm. And that gave me a better balance. And when I talk about giving me a better balance is that to be a very analytical person. Most people don't even know that about Ed. They think he was this strict Roman Catholic. And I always explain to people, no, they went by their religion. They went by their Christianity faith when they got involved with stuff. But I got exposed to more different things with Ed and Lorraine than I did with anybody else. So it was a dynamite experience and a fantastic learning adventure with him, because he would expose you to things. He wouldn't say too much a lot of times. And then, a day or two later, if I was around or they were around or something, he would go, well, what did you think about that kid? What's your, and we would sit, we would talk about it and go back and forth. And again, that's what made me take that step back and realize, possession, true possession, comes in many different forms and happens in many different ways. And a lot of different cultures and belief systems have the rights to be able to help people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the most critical thing, because again, I'm the farthest thing from a Bible thumper. I would never cut it, trust me. So I don't do exorcisms. Do I do clearings in houses and bindings of things on items? Yes, that I will do. But to actually do a deliverance or an exorcism, no, I wouldn't take. I would not want to take that responsibility upon, because I don't think in that frame to be able to move forward with it.
Mm-hmm.
So I always rely on the spiritual people out there to be able to do that stuff. I'll gladly help them and assist, do everything I can, give them any information they need, and be able to move forward.
Definitely.
So here I am, rocking and rolling, 52 into the 53rd year of being involved with the paranormal.
Yeah. Definitely, you have the years of experience, that's for sure.
I got something.
I only got half the time on you. This will mark my 28th year in the field. So
Cool.
This
and
year
I started young, just like you. I was 13 when I started.
Yeah. There's a lot of people out there, and when you look at the big picture, you realize how long people were involved with things. A lot of people did a lot of things on their own. They didn't
Oh yeah.
necessarily get involved with a paranormal group, or it's intriguing and it's interesting. But
Definitely.
what I look back at is, in the time framing, is when Ed and Lorraine used to teach and hold classes and things. I mean, it was like nonstop. It was, continuously working with different people, continuously working different groups. I mean, we'd be out investigating, 3 or 4 times a week sometimes, with different things, especially if they were local and stuff. So it was a different world back then,
Oh yeah.
compared to the way everything is today. Totally different
Sure.
world. Yeah.
Oh, I definitely. Even during COVID, it was totally changed too.
Yeah.
So,
I think COVID kind of changed all of us with the.
Yeah, definitely. You own so many haunted items. Is there one that unsettles you the most?
I don't have one particular that really, I can say it's something, because I'm more guarded with my items than I am anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And the darker items, the things used in occult activity, or the things on the darker end of it, I look at differently than I will a haunted doll, or a piece of jewelry or something, or a piece of furniture that probably has human spirit attached to it more than anything on the darker negative end of it. So
Yeah.
it's difficult for me to say I have a particular item, because I'll go, no, this one, no, that one, no, this one, no, that one. And that's what I end up doing. And it gets difficult because I just start looking at all of it and look at it from a different perspective, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. When did you start collecting? Like, what was your very first piece of haunted items?
Well, I should have brought that in. I was in the car with Ed and Lorraine. We just had left. It was a local case that we're working on. And the woman collected these little collectible statues. And she bought this one, added it, thought it was moving and everything, and all kinds of crazy things. So Ed and Lorraine had removed it. I was in the back seat of the car. My uncle takes it and throws it in the back seat. He goes, "You want that, kid?" And I'm like, "What am I going to do with this?" But, again, this was a lot of times the way he would teach. Now, he knew that was going to start to intrigue me, because back then we didn't have computers. We didn't have nothing. You went and got books. That was the only way you learned anything.
Oh, yeah.
Or from other people. So I went and picked up several books, and I was up his house. And I was like, I can't get over some of the, things that are haunted that were out there. I went and picked up a couple of books. I said, now I'm even more intrigued. And he busted out laughing. So, again, he knew what was going to trigger me to start looking for things and start poking around with a lot. You know, that clown picture, I got that look on my face. I look like the freaking clown. But that's, you know, basically what the barn looks like. I call it a barn, but people will go, that doesn't look like a barn, John. It's technically a barn, but we finished the interior of it. And that's the whole lower level with the two pictures you're looking at.
Mhm.
So it's a lot of the different things I've collected over the years. And, you know, the upper level is where my office is. And the other half of it used to be a classroom. Unfortunately, now it's turned into storage. And there's things just piled like you can't believe. So it's hoarders would have a blast in here. I'll tell you that much.
So Andrew just asked in the chat, when or has there been any rumblings of the show Haunted Collector coming back?
No, unfortunately, yeah. TV land, it's another whole element of things. You know, people say, oh, it's your TV show, you could do what you want, you could say what you want, you could go anywhere you want. No, you cannot.
Yep.
Okay, and I take the time to explain it to people because it helps them. And I'll go, do you work? And they'll go, yes. I go, you work 9 to 5? Yes. Do you got bosses you report to? Yes. And I said, can you do whatever you want at work? No.
No.
I go, well, neither can we on TV. So again, it's, you know, it's the same thing. Yeah, things have to be structured. They have to be pulled together. A tremendous amount of research will go into a location before any of us are allowed to even go out to them.
Mhm.
And, you know, people don't even realize that. People think we just show up at these places with cameras and just start filming.
Yeah.
Nope.
You know, unfortunately, I mean, more so today you can because everybody does the, you know, our phones and everything with different places we go to and stuff like that. But, you know, with residential and stuff like that, especially for TV shows or anything, all got to get checked out. The people got to get checked out. Releases have to get signed. It's I call it the machine. And the reason I call it the machine is because by third season, I was involved with the processing, you know,
Yeah.
the whole thing. And it was one of the best educations I've ever gotten in my life. I call it education.
I think Bonnie just threw down the gauntlet here, telling you to pull your weight and do your own show.
Wow, that sounds like Bon.
You could do a YouTube show, you know, because all the networks are, you know,
I don't know.
non-existent
I don't
anymore.
know. All these kids are taking them over, you know, and I get the biggest kick out of it. It's like I didn't know too much about any of it, and then when you know people started talking about them, there was that Cody and or
Sam and Colby.
Sam and Colby.
I had no clue who these kids were. And
Johnny, I'm going to be 40 here in like 2 months, and I'm looking at some of this technology going, how the hell do you do this? I'm like,
yeah,
I miss the days of opening a paper and reading it. And I'm showing my age.
I miss it.
I work every year for Spirit Halloween as a store manager,
Ah.
and the kids I hire legitimately call, like, my nickname at work is either Grandpa or Peepaw. that is legitimately my nickname.
What?
Jenny, you do. I will dunk all 411 you in a dunk tank. All right.
Just wait until, you know, the Gettysburg Bash and you can get me again with Pennywise.
You just wait.
You ain't going to know which hotel room I'm in because you missed that opportunity last year.
You know how easy that is to find out.
Mm-hmm.
I have a package for Jenny Davis and Bonnie Gurney. I just need to know what room they are so I can drop it off. Poof, done.
But this year I'll have River, so you can't do that.
Don't use your kid as a shield.
Yep, I will. I will do that. Because you will scare her to death, and then you'll be sleeping over at your house.
So, Johnny, with your museum, are you trying, and I don't want to use the word commercialize, but
why? That's what it is.
No, but what I want to say, because you're a man of the people, and you know you always have been, sir, as long as I've known you. You are more about spreading the education of things, and because knowledge is power.
Correct.
Definitely.
Yes.
And are you looking to put your objects on display so you can kind of teach people about the folklore that's connected to the objects? I would say in a commercialized setting as a standalone brick and mortar.
Yes. Would I consider doing something like that? Absolutely. I mean, for the past several years, I still keep looking, at different pieces of property. You come up against, this whole, and people don't realize it. They go, well, just go out and pick up, just pick up a building, buy a house, throw your museum in it. I wish I could. You can't, but you can't do that. You have to go according to zoning.
Yep.
You have to go to according to so many different things. Russ, I think the closest I've came, and it was a few years ago, I almost bought this old funeral home.
Oh.
And in Adams, Massachusetts.
Okay.
Perfect building. It was creeped out. The decor from the 70s was still in there with all those creepy coffin drapes. I call them
ornate kind of.
Yeah, right. And I had it. It was amazing what I had to go through with zoning, commissioning, the town. I mean, there's a lot to it. And, again, just because something's a commercial piece of property, it doesn't necessarily mean you could take something and put it in there. Now, there's a couple of pieces. I continuously look. I've never stopped. I have several good friends that will send me pieces of property here and there. And, we'll go and check them out and everything. There's this one that I don't like to get too excited because it's perfect. It would work out. It's creepy.
Don't count your eggs before they hatch.
Correct.
Before they hatch.
Right. Because my realtor friend says to me, she goes, well, it's commercial. I went, ah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
I said it's commercial for what it's being used for. And she goes, I keep forgetting you know all this stuff now. I said, well, I better know it after all these years. I said, it's an important element to be able to establish and get something to be able to move forward. So again, I'd like to see it done, Russ, before I'm gone.
Of course.
Again, the running joke, Jenny will tell you I got a wicked sense of humor. Yeah, the running joke in my family is with my wife and my kids is that, they'll go, what are you doing with all that? I go, that's your problem. Once I'm out of here, right? But again, I would like to get something structured and, hope that it could stay in one location. That's why people tell me too, they go, well, lease or rent something. No, because then that puts the burden of responsibility on my wife and my kids. So therefore, no, if I'm going to do something, I'd like to, be able to purchase it and, have it there and hopefully it'll keep going.
Yeah.
Now, I will say this with the utmost respect that God forbid anything ever happened to you. Because you are a very polarizing figure in not only the field, but in life. I mean, you've not only become, I guess you really couldn't say a mentor to me because, I followed your land of work and everything for so long. But there are a lot of people out there who know you for what you are and what you've done. But you don't only have the Zaffis name to carry on. You have a family legacy to carry on.
Yeah.
And not only through haunted objects, but through education and knowledge of how to protect yourself, how to deal with certain things, things like that. I mean, you're much bigger than a face on a TV screen.
Oh yeah.
Because I've been around before Jesus Christ. What do you want?
Yeah. No,
but no, I you know me. I love cutting up. But I was fortunate enough, Russ, that I had that whole world that most people never got exposed to.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to remember, in that time framing, I didn't know that because they were my aunt and uncle, and they chased Casper the Ghost around. What am I?
You thought this was a normal Sunday.
Again, it wasn't that. Now there was me and 4 of my other cousins. We all grew up together. Now Ed's mom used to live with us in our home, and the holidays they would always come down to visit. Easter, Christmas, and everything like that. We wanted to hear ghost stories from my uncle. And it would be like my grandmother would be like, oh, Jesus Christ, it's, Easter, Christmas, and you're talking about ghosts. And my grandmother used to get all flustered over it. I remember that. But then everybody would say, he's keeping the kids occupied. Let him go. Tell them
Yeah.
ghost stories. So anyways, I mean, again, that was a lot of me being so used to it and everything. And honestly, it took many, many years for things to register with me, the fact, because I was always so used to going to him with everything,
Yep.
because his real name was Warren. I would always go, Uncle Warren, what do we do? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And again, we're allowed to call him Uncle Warren in the house, but never out in public. It had to be Ed.
Mhm.
So again, that's the way it is. But it was weird, because then I would have to take that step back. And I'm a very fortunate person that over the course of the years, the 40, 50 years of different people that worked with my aunt and uncle, I've remained friends with quite a few of those people. A lot of them have passed on, but there's still quite a few, and we're, still good friends and everything. And we talk, and I take that step back and I go, what would he do in this situation? What would he do in that situation? I'll go, okay, then I could relate it to something, and I would tie it in with something and go, there it is. That's okay. Because he would always tell me, figure it out yourself.
Yep.
And, we'd get into screaming matches. I would say to him, you tell me to figure everything out. How am I going to figure it all out? He goes, you'll figure it out.
You'll figure it out. It'll come.
Then 2 or 3 days later, he would test you and go back and forth. And he goes, well, what did you think of that? And I would say, blah, 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 what I thought about it and everything. And I would look at him and I go, well, what do you think? None of your business. But this is what would happen.
So it kind of seems like Ed was that type of personality that would not give you all the straws. He'd make you go grasping for the straws yourself, because he knew you would. So he'd be like, you'll figure it out, but I'm not going to tell you how to.
Yes.
And when you do, I'm not going to tell you you're right or wrong.
Yes. And he would always say, what did you learn from that? And then, he would sit there like Buddha, cross his arms, and just sit there like this. And, you'd go through it, have all these conversations and everything, and go back and forth. But again, too, I never realized some of the exposure that I had with him. I mean, different things that he would do, different things that he'd be involved with, that he'd be doing, but he wouldn't talk, but yet he was showing me, if that makes sense to you. But 9 out of 10
like the
times,
whole Karate Kid thing. This seems useless. No, you're learning.
Yep.
And it would be, okay, he's doing that, and he's doing this and doing that and doing this. And, a lot of times I would say, well, I understand what you're doing, but I don't know why you're doing it. Shut the hell up and watch.
Yeah.
And this is then I would start to piece things together as he would do different things and the things that he was showing me. And, I would comprehend it. And again, it's what carried me through a lot of the different things, and, why I handle things and do things the way I do them.
Definitely. I know.
As quirky as it is.
I know something that last year at Michigan was really touching was when you and Chip did honoring the Warrens. I don't think there was ever a dry eye in that room, because it was either laughing.
That little shit, he'll get me crying in a heartbeat.
I love Chip.
How can you not? I mean, you know what? It's Chip. Chip and I are, believe it or not, we've been, friends for so many years. When he got involved with the field, he had reached out to me, and, we were talking and we became friends. We did, a few events, blah, 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 blah. And all these years later, it's like him and I get on the phone and we'll just start talking and everything. And it's just like nothing,
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of people say, well, a lot of people get very guarded when they're around me, and I don't know why. And people will say that to me. They get intimidated by me. And I go, why?
I still kind of do.
You do?
Kind of.
Anyway, Chip and I were talking about that. And Chip, he always yells at me. He'll go, you just still don't understand who you are. And I go, well, if you ever figure it out, let me know. I'm just John Zaffis. But he goes, you just don't get the big picture, John. He goes, just, people don't look at you like you look at you. And I'll go, what?
Fun little side note about Chip Coffey. The first time I ever met him was at Scarefest back in 2014, I want to say.
Okay.
And him and I ended up bumping into each other outside later that night. Like, we were outside smoking, and there was a particularly inebriated gentleman that would not leave Chip alone.
Oh God.
So like Chip and I were kind of standing like by this park bench, and he's like, hey, just play along. And he like puts his arm around me, and we sit down on the bench. And he's like, yeah, you're my boyfriend for tonight. And I'm just like,
this is Chip.
I'm married. He's like, it's yours for right now. Just shh. And I'm like,
Oh my God.
Who am I to disagree?
Chip's a character when he does his stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, like I was just like,
he'll do that with me. He'll walk up to me, put his arm around me and everything, and go, "Oh, honey," and I'll go, "Yeah, baby, what's the matter?" But again, being comfortable enough with all, I don't care. I got other things to worry about in life. So, but again, when you establish those friendships, some of them they remain throughout, and they're consistent. We can go several months without speaking, but then we'll talk at an event or
right back up.
Like, right. Those kind of friendships are far and few in between. But that again, it's your mom and I are like that. We can go without seeing or talking to each other, and boom, we click. As soon as we're together, it's like boom.
Like every time we're at Michigan or we met together, he comes up and goes, "How's your dad? How's your husband?" I'm like, we still get kind of thrown off by that. Like, you really do care. But he'll send me messages. He'll be like, "How are you doing?" I'm like, "Okay." It's always fun.
I think one of the big things about it is a lot of the people that have been exposed to the paranormal field only see it through the eyes of the television. They see it through the eyes of the screen.
Correct.
They don't get the time like we do necessarily, where we're out doing events and we quote unquote rub elbows with everybody. And it's not just rubbing elbows, it's making long lasting friendships.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where there are those people you just connect with on that level, and those will ultimately impact how everything goes. I mean, Johnny, you and I were talking before we went on air about Scotty, and she is a near to dear sweetheart to me. I love her, since we always joked back and forth about wanting to get on each other's shows and everything. And it never worked out because we were always at the same day at the same time. So literally, God rest her soul, a week before she passed away, we were talking about, she's like, "Oh, I'm going to get out of here. And when I do, you're going to cancel your show one night and do my show. And then the next week I'll do the same thing." And I was like, "Scotty, you got a deal. Let me know what date works for you. We're good to go." So, it's.
Well, the running thing, Russ, with that whole thing with Scotty too. She was driving me batshit crazy to come down in February, this next month, and we were going back and forth. She goes, "Just come down and hang out for a few days." And I said, it's something. Let me think about it. And she got quiet, and I go, "All right." I said, "Fine, we'll make a deal here." And she goes, "Oh shit," like that, right?
Deal.
She goes, "What do you want?" I said, "I've been trying to get you to go to the beach with me." I said, "You have a grandchild. All of a sudden, you go to the beach with your grandchild, but you wouldn't go to the beach with me." "I ain't going to the effing beach with you." But I
can hear her voice.
Oh yeah. So again, it's one of those types of things where it's I thought about it, but I think each and every one of us. I sat here and cried, Russ, for about 20 minutes after her last video she posted.
So did I.
I,
So did
I, I knew that was it. She knew it too. She just,
She was staying strong for everybody.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's just, I love you all. And I mean that. That's not Scotty.
That's not Scotty. That is not Scotty.
But then right then and there, because then like I said, I sat here and I just shut everything right. I sat here and just cried. That's all I said. She knew. She knew.
I think the last word she said to me at Gettysburg last year was, we were out on the patio. We just finished smoking. And I was like, all right, well, I got to get back inside. And she just looks at me and goes, see you later, asshole. And I was like,
that's our Scotty, though. That was Scotty.
I'm like, all right, Scotty, love you. I'll see you in a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Astrid asks, did you find you had to protect yourself from some of the items or the energies in your collection?
Yes.
So
what I do is, usually if I'm working with something, I don't consider myself a psychic or a medium or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I'll laugh if somebody handed me their hands and say do a reading on me. I'd bust out laughing. I just would. But I think all of us, when you get involved with this work, you do pick up. You go, all right, it's creepy in here. There's there's something to. I'll pick up an item or something and go, all right, there's something creepy with it. So again, with me,
now, do you audibly add that to like shopping cart and like I'm taking this home?
There are certain things that I have not taken home, and Russ, I'll tell you why, because they were too valuable. I don't want them.
Okay. Yeah.
When there's family heirlooms or something, and I've always said this to people, I don't want grandma's freaking 5-carat diamond ring. I don't want that.
Yeah.
See if somebody else in your family wants it, put it in your safe deposit box. I'll bless it. I'll bind it. I'll do what I can for you. I said, but I really don't want to take it home with me. I just don't. If it's somebody's Jaguar, that's a different story. I don't know. I got to look at that.
So that brings up a good item. When did we do that trade? I can't even remember. I think it was 2012.
God, you sound like it's some sort of back alley deal or something. Like,
so backstory.
Yes, and for everybody listening here, the paranormal world is a very shady place.
Yes, it is. Backstory. My friend had a house out in Illinois, I believe, and it had very negative spirits. John knows this whole story. Very negative spirits. She moved up to northern Minnesota, and somehow this item from the house in Illinois found its way to Minnesota. She swore she left it at the house in Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow found a way into the house in Minnesota. And John came up to Minnesota for a Paracon, which we dearly miss up here. It was one of the best events ever. And we did. We bagged it up. I think it was in like 2 or 3 garbage bags or something. Put it in the garbage bag, wrapped it up. I think she blessed it or something too.
Mm-hmm.
Got to the Paracon, pulled John outside to the car. We hand him the bag. He opens it. What happens then? Did it bite you or something?
Me?
Yeah, didn't it no.
Didn't bite me.
But you have it.
I have it. I don't remember. I'm trying to remember if something happened to anybody when we did the exchange. Now, every time I say that, I'm going to start laughing now because of what he said.
Johnny's face there
was just doing a drug deal.
Was just like, wait, it bit me? What the? Where was I?
Oh, yeah. Uh-oh. Your mother wants me to bring it so she can see it.
Gettysburg, bring it.
Oh God. Yeah, that's the.
But that's it. Yeah. So he's been around for a while, and there's a couple of other ones out there I've seen online that people talk about that they had problems with it. Now again, it's contained, it's sealed. You can see where I still have all the salt and everything in there.
Yep.
So again, because people will say that. Now, the container is broken, but that's not because he tried to escape. It was because I dropped it. So
Did you see them
Well,
after
that's the
midnight?
scientific state.
I
That's the
did,
scientific
Russ. Russ, I found
John had a fight with the Furby and it tried to break out of its box. That's all.
Yep,
That's the funny
yep.
story of it all.
So
Mhm.
anyhow, that's the whole thing with our Furby there.
Yep.
No,
Yeah.
but I'm saying, like, the reason I brought up that kind of analogy was, like, these days with the enchanted and haunted objects, people are like, oh well, yeah, meet me here at this time in this place, and I'll just give it to you, and we're not
Oh,
going to
that
ask any
happens.
questions. We're
Yeah.
not going to talk about it.
Mhm.
It's just going to be done and done. And you're standing there just like,
You're like,
okay.
okay. You're like,
Okay, I'll share this with you. I don't usually talk
Uh-oh.
about this, but
uh-oh.
this is a wild story. Because people always ask what's the craziest things. There's several different crazy items, and they all have to do with sexual toys and things like that.
Oh,
But
God.
since we're all going down to Gettysburg, I was going down, meeting up with this is years ago, a couple of other paranormal groups. Now, you might have heard over the years of a woman named Stacy Jones.
Yep.
Used to be okay. Stace was a paranormal investigator, upstate New York. She was a typical cop. She was as rough as they got. She was even rougher than Scotty. But anyhow,
Tough as nails.
Unbelievable. Anyhow, her and I, again, to this day, we have a bond and a friendship. We go months without talking, and we'll get on the phone. Hey, But her I've known up 10 years too. But anyways, so we're all meeting down there, and they were all at the hotel, and I pull in, and I got these two women. They're screaming and yelling, coming up to me and going back and forth and everything. And I'm like, what is this all about? We called your house. Your wife said you were here. And, we got this haunted item and everything like that. And I'm standing there and I'm going, my wife would never tell anybody where I went. I know she would, especially if she didn't, if it was a friend or something that, goes, oh, Johnny went down to Gettysburg. But anyways, so they're carrying on and going back and forth and everything is screaming and crying. And I was like, oh, all right, well, come over to the car, it's in the car. So I pick it up and it's very flexible and I'm holding it, right? And
no.
Oh, God.
And it's, wrapped up. It's all wrapped up and everything. And the woman's screaming bloody murder at this point. Oh, my God, it's so haunted. It's so bad and everything. Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, what the hell is this, right? So I'm not the guy. So I rip it open and it's a fish.
Yeah.
All right, so I look, and all of a sudden, people are opening windows in the hotel room. They got cameras and everything going. They're filming this whole thing. So
and you're standing there holding like,
all right, Rust, a typical Johnny Zaffis. I turned and looked at the both of them because then they explained to me what it was and everything. It's Stacy screaming, yelling down, it's a dildo. And I'm like, all right. So I looked at the typical classical me and I turned and looked at the two women and I go, who in the world would ever be able to take something like that? And they all signed it. Everybody that was there that weekend signed it. So it's somewhere
please tell
down.
me you still have this.
She says that to me all the time. She said, please tell me you kept that. I says, it's somewhere in one of the boxes. I don't know where. I said, Stacy, I wasn't going to put that out on display. No.
I'm thinking a nice gun rack above the fireplace. Like,
but that again, that's one of my more comical type situations that you can't make this stuff up. You can't.
Well, no. In their defense, at least it was wrapped, and they didn't come up to you waving it like you need to take this.
Stacy told me, she goes, well, at least it was new. And I went,
Does that make it any better?
It did after that, because after that I couldn't stop laughing. I mean, it was just like, what a setup that was. Wow.
Oh, wow.
So we all know the typical John Zaffis humor and everything. Now, do you think you've kind of developed it over the years as almost like a coping mechanism to deal with some of the darker things that you dealt with in the past? Or do you think it's more of just your everyday personality?
It's just me. I've always,
John.
I was very quiet, as a kid. I was very, very, very quiet. And when I got older, then but they say that that's very common with people that, but, again, for me to
It's almost
cut
a
up,
trauma response kind of thing.
I guess, yeah, I don't know. I
Mhm.
just always had a wicked sense of humor, with stuff. And, especially with the paranormal stuff, because my uncle used to say he used to say the same thing. He goes, your humor kicks in even more when we're out doing stuff, especially, at a deliverance or an exorcism or something.
It is a
So
defense mechanism for you, kind of like to keep it light and like
I
not take things
guess,
so seriously.
yeah.
So
Bishop,
Johnny, I have a special person here that wants to say hi to you. The last time you saw her was actually at Plymouth Paracon when it was the after party at Plymouth Paracon, and you were actually hitting on her standing right next to me.
I was hitting on her. What was he pointing to?
Hi, Johnny.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, she's taking the headphones.
How are you?
Good. How you doing? You doing good?
I'm good.
Good. Keeping him out of trouble.
No.
I'm trying.
Big
Trying.
job. Big job.
All right. I'll let you get back to your interview. I just wanted to say hi.
Hi. Good to hear you.
Oh, that reminds me of sometimes at Shireen's store. That's for sure. Of Johnny at the bar.
No,
Hanging out.
no, it was funny. Johnny and I were standing there. We were just having a beer. We're all having a drink, and he starts saying something to my wife, and I'm like, you know what? I ain't even mad. Like,
It's Johnny.
What did
You can't be mad.
Was I horsing around or something? Or
you might have, like, you weren't like really hitting on her. It was just kind of like
I was
one of those,
gonna.
oh, you have beautiful hair, like, just kind of like playing around with her and everything. And I'm like, just
Okay,
standing
all
there,
right, that's
just,
me. Okay, yeah, I
just
horse
drinking my
around
beer,
and got
going,
yeah.
I'm not even mad at this. Like, I'm really not.
You know how many people say that to me? A lot of guys will say to me, Jesus, if I talk to my wife like that, she'd knock me out. And I go, well, when you get older, you can say whatever you want. People don't pay attention to you no more.
Yeah, right?
So I mean, yeah,
Exactly.
okay, that would make sense. Now I know what you're talking about. Okay.
Doug asked, what is your all-time favorite haunted location?
I don't have one because there's so many places I still haven't been yet.
He loves them all equally.
You
Yeah.
love them all equally.
Again, with most of the places, that I've been to, there's always been different types of experiences or, different things that happen. So again, I there's just so much still on my bucket list.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay, so you don't have a favorite. So which one stands out to you the most? Most memorable.
What stands out to me the most, because I've had the most experiences no matter where I've been or where I've stayed, and that's Gettysburg. There was a whole group of us, about 8 of us, that used to go down there in the dead of winter, no pun intended, because we knew it'd be quiet down there.
Yep.
That we'd rent a B&B and
Mhm.
we'd hit all these different places because all of us got to know everybody. And we
Oh,
used to have the best freaking experiences down there. So I would say my all-time place as far as activity, having experiences, or, again, has always been like Gettysburg.
And perfect segue right into that, Mr. Zaffis.
yeah.
Yes. I am
You are the
definitely.
headliner this year.
Well, no, we got my son Dave there. We got Aaron. We got oh my gosh, we got a whole bunch of people there.
Yeah,
There
there's a
we
whole
go. Yeah.
bunch of people.
Yeah.
I'll be
There we go.
there. If you
Yes,
come
I'll
in,
be
sit,
there.
if you come in and sit on my lecture, I may like pass out. But
No, you know what, Russ? I've already thank you for bringing that up, because I've always tried to make it a point to with different folks to sneak in the back and just try to see what they do, or what their presentations are like and things like that, because I don't like to let them know, because some people get very nervous about that, and I don't know why. A good story. Bobby Murch. Everybody knows Bob Murch.
Yep.
Okay. We're all very, very good friends. He was doing his presentation many years ago, and I unfortunately walked in and sat up front. And the poor guy started stuttering, and he was going back and forth. Da, 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 da. But I didn't think anything of it. Afterwards, I don't know if we were in the bar or where we were, and I looked at him and I went, dude, that was freaking awesome. I said, the information you shared, you were telling the history on everything and going into it and everything. I said, that's a dynamite presentation. And he goes, you made me a freaking nervous wreck sitting up front like that. He goes, I figured for sure you were going to say something and start screaming, because of the Ouija board. And I looked at him and I'm going, why? I go, it's a tool like anything else. It's got
Yeah.
I don't look at things from that perspective. It's just a tool. That's all it is. It's a tool. People can play it. Nothing will happen. Other people play with it. They bring stuff in. A lot of us get involved with helping them. And that's the way I view it. And I was so honored and so fortunate that when Bob had done, it was a convention that he had done where they used to manufacture the original Ouija board down in Maryland, I think. If I'm
Maryland
correct.
was the first one. Then I think it moved up to Boston, didn't it? Milton Bradley moved up to. I know it was in the Massachusetts area.
Yeah, but originally had started down there.
Yep.
Anyways, they did a convention about the anniversary and everything, and he calls me up. He goes, "I want you to be a speaker." I go, "Well, I don't know how the hell I'll ever fit in with that." He goes, "You fit in with everything."
Yeah.
And he goes, "You're not going to go down there and start shredding it and ripping it apart." I go, "Well, how do you know that?" He goes, "John, I know you well enough." He goes, "You're more." Yeah. And it turned out great. It was a fantastic convention that he put on. And I was very honored that they asked me to go to that.
Like,
that's awesome.
You were talking
about how did we get onto that? I don't even know how we got
onto that. But I remember 2013 Mid-South. Bill Bean worked with Chris on getting him engaged to me. I remember looking back in the back of the room real quickly, and who do I see? See Uncle Johnny Zaffis watching me get engaged at Mid-South.
That's right. Yeah.
That will always stick with me, is seeing everybody, because that room was packed.
Yeah.
Why do I see Johnny in that situation, like the dude from Home Improvement, just like his eyes over the fence, like
that's me.
He was kind of like that with everyone in the room, because I'm pretty sure like Bill Bean and Keith H got like everyone from Mid-South there in that one room, which was not very big. It was one of the smaller lecture rooms. And jam-packed, it was everyone. Because I remember Keith was in there, Chris Nicoletti was in there, John was in there, I want to say Stephen LaChance was in there, everyone was in there. Tim Yancey was in there.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, yeah, Tim was in there. Yeah. Steve LaChance was in there.
Yep.
Do you know what my nickname is for him?
I know my nickname for him.
What's your nickname?
Swamp Ass.
Swamp.
Funny story. That comes with a really
I am
funny
so glad
story.
we're not a family show.
No, my nickname for Steve LaChance is Tiny. I have called him Tiny since the day I've known him. And he's another one I've known for eons and eons and eons. Yep.
His nickname with me came out of, I think it was the night before Mid-South started. We were all sitting outside at like 2, 3, 4 a.m. And it had rained earlier, right? So he sits down, not looking to see where he was sitting. And he sat in like a puddle of water. He gets up, he goes, "Damn, my ass is Swamp Ass." I'm like, "Oh, there you go. That's your new nickname."
No, I didn't know that one.
Yeah, Swamp Ass.
Oh,
Yep.
good Lord. All right, Jenny. So why don't we bring up the books Johnny's been working on here?
He has a few. So the one on the right is his DVD, if I remember correctly, right?
Yep.
And then The Haunted by the Things You Love is also written by him and Rosemary.
Rosemary Ellen Guiley, yep.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then he has these, the demon haunted, and When the Spirits Speak, We Listen.
Yes.
I feel like I'm missing a couple.
Yeah. Shadows of the Dark.
Yep, Shadows of the Dark.
And thanks. You're catching me at a blank. There's 6 books. I know.
I know, right? And I'm like, I should know this because I own them. I own 2 copies of each.
See, Johnny, you've done so many, you don't even remember what you've done.
It's true. It's true. Because every once in a while, somebody will send something or something will pop up with something, and I'll go, geez, I don't even remember filming that show or, being involved with that. But the last 3 books that were put together, thankfully, was Debbie and Larry Elward. I mean, Larry and I go back to the age of 19. Debbie and her sister and I all got to know each other many years ago when we used to take the classes up at the Warrens, and all of us became very good friends. And then we ended up finding out one time when we were here, one of my sister-in-laws go, Elward? I wonder if he's related to the family, on Nana's side. And I stopped and I looked and I went, I've never given that a thought. So next time I'm on the phone talking and I go, Lair, I go, your last name's Elward. He goes, yeah, you think? I go, well, we got a lot of family, Cheryl's family, up in Maine. He goes, yes, we do. I go, Lair. He goes, Cheryl's grandfather was my grandfather's brother. I said, Larry, all these years, you never said anything. You never brought it up. How come? He goes, I don't know. I just never thought about it. So anyways, then Debbie goes, oh, shit. Not only are we friends, but we're related, so getting divorced isn't going to help.
Now, I have one question for you that I actually posed to Brian Cano a few years ago.
Okay.
What was your first impressions of Madison Seminary in Madison, Ohio? Because it was featured on the Haunted Collector Show.
Correct.
I can't say I was very happy with that episode, how it played out, because I was the residential paranormal team that was there, that was doing the cleaning, helping out and everything like that. And some of the things I was just kind of like, okay, I could see, and Brian told me the same thing. He's like, we were told what to do. This is what we did, done and done. And I was like, all right, I'll take that for what it is.
Again, like I was talking earlier, we all got people we got to report to, and
make it a good episode.
At the end of the day, that's what you get told. Again, it's a process in the working. I felt more activity and felt heavier in the building farther over, Russ.
The older
Not
building.
the other building that I remember, it had a big porch in front of it.
Yep.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. And I remember going in and out of there. I remember talking and saying I wanted to film some stuff in there. Then they were telling me no, because the woman was in the other building. And then I'm like, but wait a minute, the other building was the older building. And then I got more confused, but whatever. But anyhow, it all ended up tying. But a good thing ended up coming out of that, because the things that we had from that went to her family. I don't have them in the museum. So to me, that was kind of a good thing at the end of the day, how it ended up turning out, that, it brought some closure for the person and the family.
Of course.
Definitely.
Of course.
So here's a good one. What is your opinion on the whole Conjuring series of movies that they're making out of your aunt and uncle's pieces?
What do I
Let's
think
just
of?
say he
No,
wasn't
no,
first
no,
to buy
no.
tickets.
He wasn't the first one to buy tickets. I know that.
Oh, yes, I was for the first Conjuring. Absolutely, I was curious to see what the hell they were going to do, what it was going to be
Mhm.
like. Um,
There's a new
So
one.
they didn't consult you whatsoever, like
no,
being a
I'm not tied in
family
with any.
tie, nothing.
No, I'm not tied in with any of
Wow.
that. Um, you know, now Andrea is a very good friend of mine.
Oh yeah,
Roger is. So is her family.
the
Actually,
sweetest people ever.
the greatest people. Now, today is Christine's birthday. Her younger sister.
Oh,
I'm
yes.
very good friends with the whole family.
Mhm.
So when I talk to Andrea, Christine wants to talk to me. Andrea gets very jealous. So I got to be
Of
careful.
course.
Anyhow, so but as far as the movies, they were designed and created to scare us.
Mhm.
That's what a scary movie's about. Now, if the movie went directly by facts and you know stayed on course with just the way the case went and everything, it'd be pretty boring. And today, what do we do when we go home when we see or do something? Don't waste your money. Don't buy a ticket. Don't go see it.
Yeah.
It's a different. Me, I like getting scared. Anyways, it was a good movie.
Mhm.
And Conjuring 2, again, a lot of things got very controversial. People were claiming Ed and Lorraine were only in that house one time. That's not true. My uncle
Yeah.
was there an extended period of time with a couple of the other researchers. Him and Lorraine were there a couple of different times. Was it their case? No, it was Pyle's case. But
Mhm.
they got involved with the case, but they did work it. They did, get involved with it. So it was pretty good and everything, to watch it as far as a scary movie.
Yeah.
Conjuring 3 is my least favorite. That is just all over the place.
Yeah, it
And
is.
it's just, it just didn't, it was just jumping all over. I was trying to figure out this, trying to figure that out. And I'm like, this is
It doesn't.
crazy.
It doesn't
Right.
make. It didn't make sense. It was the jumping from one thing to another. It's like what?
Right.
And now they're making another one. I don't even know what case that one's on. But
Well, none of that has, to my knowledge. And if it has been, I'm not quite well aware of it, has been determined on what particular case
case.
they're going to choose. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Well,
my
Johnny, I know.
favorite, I'll tell you what my favorite is: The Nun. I love the Nun movies.
Ugh.
Love them.
I've yet to
N-
watch that one.
Now, all I know, Johnny, is we need to get you up to the South Shore of Massachusetts because Warner Paranormal Preservation Society, a group I'm actually part of, we actually run 2 historical locations.
Hmm.
And definitely need to get you come up here to kind of poke around a little bit and see what you think of them. I mean, it's not a far drive.
Okay.
You're just down in Connecticut.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
would love to have you up at any time. That would be awesome.
Sounds like a plan. We'll have to pull it together, dude.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yes, sir. We definitely will.
I know
We have
whenever
another
I'm on
question.
the East
What do
Coast,
you think of the Annabelle movies?
oh geez.
Terrible. I've watched them. The running joke used to be because I go to a lot of times I'll go to the matinees,
Mhm.
and especially when Amy and Chris were still living here, they would go with me. They dislike very much going to the movies because I sit there and mother f everything up and down because everything's all over the place. And
Are you
as
one of
long as
those
I
ones you're sitting there in the movie theater and you go, "Oh, bullshit"?
Bullshit.
well, no, I'll go. Well, what the f is this? That's what I do.
Is that
And,
what you do with the
and
Haunted in Connecticut movie?
don't even go there.
Let's not send them down the dark road.
But again, it's like because it was funny. I don't remember which Annabelle it was, but I was sitting there and Chris was on one side of me, Amy was on the other side, and I'm screaming and yelling and swearing at it and everything. And they're going, people in the back were going, "That's John Zaffis, that's John Zaffis." Amy keeps hitting me. She goes, "Will you shut the hell up? Everybody knows it's you now."
You walk in a theater kind of like,
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But
I met Amy, I met Chris. I love those guys. They are amazing. They need to come back to Michigan.
one of these days they might. It's a little
It's
bit
been
more
a while.
difficult. Well, that's a little bit more difficult for them because they
Yeah.
both work full time.
It's
So
definitely for them, yeah.
yeah. Yeah, so it's a
Well,
little bit difficult.
let's see if John remembers this investigation that we went on together.
Oh,
Pythian Castle. I think it was 2000. I want to say 14, May 2014. I think it was. In Pythian Castle. It was in somewhere in Missouri. I also remember. And he kept getting stuff. You kept getting stuff through the spirit box or something about.
do you have Bonnie locked out?
Yes, I do.
She's
Yes, I do.
she's gonna kick the door in.
Good. Maybe she'll use her knee. That's bad. I don't know. She's getting yelled at. So hold on. Pause. Story.
My wife can say hi, but Bonnie can't. Come on.
What's new?
Pause. Story. But we
Hi,
were.
Johnny.
Hi, my love. How are
You
you?
need to be using your walker. Get away.
Walker, why?
Oh my God.
Hi.
She's walking fine.
I'm doing good. I'm walking.
Good. Good.
Johnny, do you remember her?
Yes, I do. She's getting big, kiddo.
Very
Getting
long
big.
time. Been 6
Hi.
years. Almost 6 years.
Yeah.
But I remember.
I'll let you guys back to the
Okay,
show.
go.
I just had
Good to
stop.
see ya.
Take care.
I remember Pythian because we kept getting
That was down in the tunnel area.
the tunnel, and then we went upstairs because every space you went, you kept getting the same message.
Okay, when we were sitting down at the tables.
Mm-hmm. And
Okay,
we
I
were kind of
remember it.
puzzle it all together, and we finally figured out it was Father
Caldwell.
Andy Calder.
coming through to try to tell you to look for something. I think it was like a journal or something. Did you ever find that?
Oh my God. I
'Cause he
forgot.
kept coming through that.
Yes. What that communication was about. Correct me if I remember correctly too. I think Jenny Stewart was with us that time.
Yes, Jenny Stewart was
Oh,
with us,
God,
and
love
Justin
Jenny.
Perry.
Well, Jenny and I. That's another one. Her and I
That's
are
a
like
pie story.
That's a-
pie.
her and I are like brother.
I
and
remember
sister.
Pie. Trust me. I
Pie,
lived
pie,
down in North
pie.
Carolina with her. Pie.
Because I do. There was one. There was one. I can't remember where the hell we were. One convention we were at, and I kept screaming because I just started screaming. You know that I started screaming.
Scarefest. It was
Yeah.
Scarefest because I heard you. Because all I hear is I'm standing there talking to Jenny because she came late that year, and all I hear is Pie.
Huh? And again, I just scream it out all over the place. But
Oh yeah.
well, how that all started? Do you know how that started?
No.
It's
She
a fun.
gave
All
me
right.
the rundown a little bit, but
But something
Okay.
with pies.
It was the craziest thing. I watched the movie The Help. You
Okay.
know okay.
Yep.
And there's this one part in there. Would you like some pie?
Pie.
And I was talking to Jenny a couple of days afterwards. And it was just the way she said it. And we were talking about Dustin Perry because he always gets pumpkin pie
Yes,
and he'll eat
yep.
the whole freaking pie and he won't share it. So
Yep.
this whole big thing broke out over the pumpkin pie because I got mad because he didn't give me a piece of the pumpkin pie. So anyway,
So what's even
That's where
better
that-
is she has that southern accent that goes
Mhm.
right
Yes, she
along
does.
with it too.
yes,
Oh yeah.
yes. So then that's what she looked at me and she goes, Mr. Zaffis, would you like some pie? And I fell out laughing and it just stuck ever since then. It's just stuck. But if anybody else says that to her, you don't tell that to me. Just John tells me that. Just John
Yep.
calls me pie.
Yep.
She goes,
Yep.
nobody else calls me pie. And
Yep.
and I like, ooh, okay.
Yeah.
She's got that
That
southern
was a fun
snap to
weekend.
her.
Yeah. But yeah.
Yep.
Did you ever find that journal or whatever that item?
Oh, I know.
was?
We jumped right off because she was there. Yeah, he was going back and forth about some journal
Yeah.
that I was supposed to look for. That he said it was supposed to be had been given to me,
Mhm.
and if it did or didn't, I don't know if the journal has ever appeared or showed up or not. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah. Because I remember people were upstairs getting something about a journal in Zaffis, and we were downstairs in the tunnel.
That's right. Yeah.
And we got the same thing. And then the group with the other, I think it was with Dustin, was getting the same thing. And we're all
Yeah.
coming back at the end of the night. We're like, what is with this journal and Zaffis and what is going on? And then we had an EVP come through. I think it was with my recorder or something. I have to see if I can find that. And you listen to it, you're like, holy crap, I know that voice.
Yeah.
Now,
That-
we're getting closer to the end of the show here, Johnny. What events do you have coming up where people can see you? Because, we have people asking where they can see you. It's like you're the elusive white whale going on over here.
I'll be at the Gettysburg Bash. I'm looking so forward to doing that. Michigan Paracon, New Jersey Expo. I'll be at that.
Aren't you also doing Parapsychon?
Yes, Parapsychon in
boy.
Ohio.
Yep.
You guys at that?
No, I'll be at
No,
Penhurst.
she forgot it. She's slacking. I remember because I'm from Ohio and Mansfield was my home base. I always went down to OSR.
Cool.
I will be at Penhurst that weekend.
Okay. So those are the several ones, and I do a lot of I'll do smaller ones in between here and there, to go to different places and stuff.
I know one place that you won't go back to do an event. Las Vegas.
I'd go back to Las Vegas and do an event if it was structured properly, if it was handled properly, and all the people there didn't get screwed that were supposed to get paid.
Mm-hmm. I remember
that's the bottom line with that whole thing.
I remember
if it was
we
properly run.
up. We were all setting up, and they had put Johnny in the back corner. And
Nobody
I went
puts
up to
Johnny
Johnny
in the
and
back.
I'm like, who puts Johnny in the corner, especially in the back corner?
Yeah, don't you remember what I did?
We moved you to the front.
I said, screw this, and moved right to the front.
Yep.
You just find yourself an empty table and this is where I sit now.
Yep.
Well, I was walking and they told me, I can't remember whose table it was. Anyways, it was somebody that canceled. They weren't coming. I go, oh, really? So I put all my stuff over there. And the guy that was running it, he goes, well, you can't just do that. I go, watch me.
Watch me. I'm the godfather of the paranormal.
Are you going to move me? All right.
Yeah. That reminds me. Somebody asked, how did you get the name the godfather of the paranormal?
I got so many freaking nicknames. Ziggity, Godfather of the Paranormal. I mean, so many names. The Godfather of the Paranormal started about a good 20 years ago. And it came from my two agents at the time. They go, well, you're like the Godfather of the Paranormal. And I'd be like, okay. And then it just stuck. And it just grew and grew. And it just stuck, ever since for the past 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And Ziggity came about from Brian Cano.
Yep.
And how did that come about was because they established that Brian got the biggest kick out of the way I speak English and how I murder the language. And he goes, he speaks Ziggity. And I go, well, what the hell is Ziggity? He goes, John, you got your own English language. Half of the stuff, sometimes when you're talking, you got to try to figure it out, especially when you start getting riled up because you don't even know what you're saying half of the time.
Yep.
Do you know how hard
that's where that came from.
Do you know how hard it was me moving from Ohio to Massachusetts and realizing people up here don't use the letter R?
I know.
I'm like, what the... the first couple of years I was up here, I'm driving around and trying to name names, and my wife's like, "Yeah, that's definitely not how you say it." I was like, "What? Do they just teach enunciation better in the Midwest, or is it what?"
We all the whole East Coast has their own language, no matter where you're at.
Oh yeah,
I don't care.
Sure.
Yeah.
That.
I mean, you go the farther up you go, the deeper.
Yeah.
Coffee. And things like that. Okay, the running joke is, library. I do know how to say it, but I say library.
Library?
Library. We all say it like this up. Even the librarians say it like that. Yeah. I mean, all of us say it like that. And I got murdered behind that. They're going, that's not proper English, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you know what? Screw you. It's how we talk here in the East Coast. Leave me alone.
Okay, so roundabout or rotary?
Rotary. I say rotary, but a lot of people say roundabout.
I say
But
roundabout.
but roundabout is very big over in the other countries.
Hmm.
The first time I said roundabout when I moved to Massachusetts, my wife looked at me and damn near slapped my head off my face. Like, I was like, what? It's called a rotary. It's called a roundabout. That's what it is.
It's a rotary.
Yeah.
We call
So-
them rotary, though.
Here's a question: Where do you?
Coffee. Car.
Copy.
Car.
Copy.
Car on the road.
Oh my God! Yes.
Your cousin
Where-
Vinny from Boston.
Good Lord.
Oh my God!
Take your car, pocket of harvest yard. Don't forget the keys.
Oh my God! Okay, this is a two-part question.
Okay.
Where do you see the paranormal field in 10 years? And then where do you see the field of demonology in 10 years?
I
Ooh.
don't know. I would kind of hope we'd see, a lot more advancement. I think it's, again, with things as far as I would love to see things proven out from a scientific perspective. We
Mhm.
need it. It needs to happen. But you can't get Casper the Ghost to have repeatability. He's not
Yeah.
always going to do what you want him to do. We need that, and to be able to chart it, and actually get it to be recognized. Now we've made leaps and bounds as far as having your engineer and scientist, and a lot of those people get more involved with the field now to try and comprehend it and understand it, build equipment, which I think is super cool. Again, it's something I hope I make it long enough to be able to see it getting proven out. And because when somebody calls me, at different people I work with and stuff, and they'll go to me, well, I didn't get any scientific proof. I'll go, what scientific proof? We don't get yet. We're not based scientifically.
Hmm.
Everything. Again, we're getting the data. We're getting the information, which is important. We need that. And once it gets someday somewhere, hopefully it can get charted and proven out. I'd be thrilled to death.
Oh yeah.
Now with the demonology field, again, it's unique in with its own perspective. Now, what I mean by that is it depends on how a person views things, how they perceive things. With the demonology field of it, I refer to myself as being very analytical. I'm very open. I understand a lot of the stuff. And again, people laugh at me. I'll say to them, I got more pagan and witch friends than I have anything else, which is true. So again, I don't look at things from that type of a perspective, where I still see a lot of my spiritual friends where they will do that. And again, I think being a little bit more opened with it is a major challenge. Don't get me wrong. We already made leaps and bounds with, people opening up as far as the spiritual realm.
Oh yeah.
I said, but we got a ways to go yet.
Still, definitely. Still got a lot of places to grow and expand.
I mean, again, too, when it comes into that, prime example, with poltergeist cases. Years ago, we got involved with a poltergeist case. It was demonic. We didn't have that understanding and comprehension that it was PK, psychic kinetic energy building up. Okay, we know this. We know how it works. We know what's occurring, but it's very difficult to get it charted. It's very difficult to get it established. So therefore, we just, again, realize it, because poltergeist cases, even to this day, still intrigue me. When you see something move or something gets broken, and it's not always demonic.
Nope.
And you can have an influence of it, but again, years ago,
not everything's demonic.
Yeah, not everything's demonic. So again, I think that's an important element, with leaps and bounds within some of this, because some of my old priest friends and ministers that, go back to my uncle's time that I've remained friends with. We'll get on the phone and we'll talk, and sometimes they'll ask me to check something out for them, and I will, and I'll get back on the phone and tell them, no, it's PK, psychic kinetic energy
Yep.
built up. The kids going through puberty. Once they go through puberty, I said
It'll-
most of the activity will calm right down. I should go bring the freaking Pope in there if you want. It ain't going to do anything.
Yeah.
It's not.
Right.
It's just not going to. It won't do anything unless it's something demonic that could possibly be tied in with it.
Oh, yeah.
But that's far and few in between.
So I know you have a couple more haunted items by you that you wanted to show. Which one do you have next? What is the story behind that one? Was
That's the Blessed Virgin Mary statue from the haunting in Connecticut.
ooh.
Oh.
Now, if you take a look, the hands are gone. They were melted off.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that happened during the exorcism. All right.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
there was 3 priests there that performed that exorcism in Carmen and Al Snedeker's house.
Yeah.
And when the priest went to retrieve the relics that were around, this was on a mantle in the living room, and he screeched. And we all ran in there to see. Nobody would touch it. Nobody wanted nothing to do with it. So again, it was just a unique type of situation. The fireplace wasn't lit. There should have been no reason for the hands to melt off.
Yeah.
Anyways, years and years went by. About good 10 years went by. I was with Carmen. We were lecturing. And she goes, I got something for you. And I go, oh, yeah. And she took this opened up the piece of paper, pulled out the Mary statue. And I go, everybody often wondered what happened with
to
that.
it. Yeah.
She said, I had it. She goes, now it goes in your museum. I said, okay, thank you. And I've had it ever since.
Yeah. I remember meeting her at Shooting Star that one year and just talking to her and hearing both of you talk about that case was just like, I can't believe she's standing that close to me and talking about this. It was just, and Carmen is like the nicest person ever.
I call her my Southern Belle. That's my Southern Belle. And my Auntie, I call her Auntie Carm. Right from the get-go, I always called her Auntie Carm. I don't know. I can't. Because the kid to her nieces, they would always scream, Auntie Carm, Auntie Carm. And I started doing it. So it stuck throughout all these years. So
Yeah.
actually, I just talked to her a couple of weeks ago, and she's be popping around down south. She likes being down there. She likes doing her cooking and taking care of all her animals. Yep.
Yep.
Typical Southern Belle.
Oh, yes. I remember because when we came up to Connecticut for that one trip a couple of years ago, we stopped past where the house was, and I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. And then we did lunch with you or breakfast with you that day.
Yeah.
Later that day.
Yep. Yeah,
what other haunted items do you have?
Well, I only took out 3, but this one's cool. I haven't had it all that long, but it's a chalice.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Okay. I mean, it's pretty, it's pretty unique and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But a girl had inherited it from a member of the family. They were very big into practicing a lot of different types of things. And one of them was vampirism, and they used to like to drink blood.
Ooh.
Now, if you take a look in the inside of it,
It's
there's
stained.
Yeah.
It's got some dried blood in there. So she totally freaked out over the whole thing. Didn't know her uncle was blah, 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 blah. The usual type stuff. She brought some of these things home. This was in a box with some of the other family sterling silver, and she didn't want it kept in there. She didn't even know how it got in there. Started screaming. She was afraid that all these shadows were going to come around and Dracula was going to show up and everything. But it doesn't go that way. So I had to explain everything to her. And, she's like, I just don't want it. She's like, just don't, And she goes, if you want it, just take it. I go, well, it's a cool piece and it's a good story for the museum.
It's a good story, yeah.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
You're not.
Yeah.
All right, Johnny. So I will end this with one final question for you.
Sure.
Oh, boy.
What would your last meal be?
probably a Christmas meal at his house. Because anyone who knows John Zaffis, Christmas is
Oh,
his
I know he
favorite
goes all
holiday.
out.
He goes
Oh,
all
I know
out.
he
Do you
goes
know-
all out.
That is, people laugh at me, because I don't care. See, what makes me even more happy now is we got 7 little ones back now in the family because all our nieces and nephews are having kids. So, it still ramps it all up for me and everything. That is my favorite thing in the world to do, is just to cook that whole buffet. Don't get me wrong. There's other people that, do bring a dish here and there, but the majority of it is me. I don't even let Cheryl do anything. I did this year. I let her help me this year. So, because she's home, she's not working either. So both of us
I'm
are
going to
home.
show up one year. I'm going to show up to your house.
What? Yeah, exactly.
Christmas
Yeah,
meal.
I'm gonna come down for 1 year. I'm like not that. I'm not that
Come
far.
on,
So
come on over. Doesn't
You know
bother.
what?
As you can see, my house fills up.
I'm going to come and visit the museum soon. Okay, let's just say that.
I could see Johnny Zaffis being a Gordon Ramsay in the kitchen.
Oh my God, yes.
Oh yeah, yeah. No,
Just
I
get
But
out
love,
he'd
of the
probably
way.
be nicer than Gordon. So
I loved it. Oh no, I will tease Cheryl with that. I'll stand there with one of my knives and I'll just go like that. I just look at her. But like I said, now I'll go, hon, you want to help me with some of this? So, again, I don't know my favorite. I don't know. I don't know what my favorite
Your last meal. You're on your way to another earthly plane. What would the last thing you want to physically eat be?
I
and
would
And
say
don't say light for traveling.
oh my God. And hopefully
that
this
would
will not happen
probably
for a very long time.
it would there'd be 2 choices. My first choice would be my bacon cheeseburger, French fries, and a chocolate milk, or breakfast, bacon, pancakes, egg, and toast.
You can't
Those
go
are
wrong
my
with breakfast.
Huh?
You can't go wrong with breakfast.
I'll eat breakfast for supper. I freaking love it. So
Oh, I do too all
again,
the time.
yeah. So again, that would be my toss up between those 2 meals there.
Well,
Very good. Very
At
good.
Gettysburg, we'll just have to go do like a breakfast with Johnny and
Exactly.
There's the diner
Yep.
that's there.
Lincoln's Diner.
Lincoln's Diner,
I've yet
and
to be there.
I
so I
go
have to
there. There's never been a time that I haven't gone down there to eat because I love their food.
And it's never been bad food.
Never. I've never
Never.
gotten bad food there. Never. Nope. Nope.
No, I've yet to go, so we'll go in July.
Well, instead of Perkins, maybe we'll make Lincoln's Diner our trip.
There you go.
Yeah, like my mom said, we had breakfast with you in Connecticut that one year.
Yeah.
Because you were out looking
breakfast
at
in Gettysburg.
yeah.
There we go.
'Cause you were out looking at locations for the museum, and we're like, Johnny, what are you doing? He goes, you go like, oh, I'm like 20 minutes from Mystic. And we're like, oh, we're in Mystic right now. Let's do breakfast.
I love my Mystic. I love it up
I
there.
have
That's a
yet to
gorgeous
beat a
city.
Mystic.
It's an excellent day trip, Russ. It's definitely worth it.
And their aquarium is amazing.
Yeah,
You're kind of biased.
Yeah, again, I've been going there since I was a little guy at the hot dog stand. So, I just like going there. I wish I could open my museum up there, but I probably could get. But I probably can get property cheaper in New York City than I could in Mystic.
Yeah,
Probably.
That's how bad it is.
Yeah. I remember because River loved when we went to the aquarium up there. She loved the belugas because she kept singing the song "Baby Beluga," and she would sing it to the belugas there. It was so fun. But I'm super excited. We'll see you in July, if not sooner. And
I'm definitely, like I said, looking forward to that very much, and seeing everybody. And we all have to have do a toast to our friend.
Yes, we
all
will.
gonna miss her.
We'll have a little powwow, and we'll definitely regroup, and we'll definitely have to not necessarily say our goodbyes, but our see you laters.
See you later.
See you later, asshole.
That's our Scotty. All right, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Thank
you so much, Johnny.
Okay, guys.
Really
Take
appreciate
care.
Yeah.
See
Have
everybody
a great
soon.
night.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye. Well, that was Mr. Johnny Zaffis for you. One of my good friends in this field. Super excited he was able to get on.
Always a riot to talk to that man.
And we'll definitely have to get him back on because we didn't even hit half of the topics we wanted to. Because every time
we
got
really didn't.
sidetracked.
So anybody that's just tuned in right now, John, Aaron, I know you guys just popped in. Go back, re-listen to the show, catch it on a repeat. Definitely a great, great episode. And if you ever want to know even more, you have your chance this coming Monday, February 5th. Relaunch of my show, Compass Curiosities. It's coming on Get Haunted Network, as well as you'll be able to stream it from the Unturned Pages page, Facebook pages, everything like that. My Compass page,
YouTube,
everything.
Spotify.
I'm also going to have Mr. Johnny Zaffis on.
Yep.
So we will definitely pick this interview right up where it left off. That's for definitely sure, because there are so many questions that I still have.
There's like boatloads of questions we didn't even hit tonight. But
Bonnie is kind of taking credit for you getting him.
Yeah, sure. So my mom helped me. She messaged him and be like,
Bonnie, we'll talk.
Why didn't you respond to messages? Johnny was not paying attention to my messages.
Bonnie, we'll talk. I did the legwork for this one for my show.
Yeah. I don't book your show. I do not book your show.
Bonnie only has one leg to walk on, and she did more for you. Huh? All right, so who do we have coming up this Sunday? Because that's going to happen before my show on Monday.
This Sunday is the owner of Eloise Asylum. He will be on. I just talked to him today via email. He is all set. He has a link. He will be on. So I'm super excited to talk about Eloise Asylum. And then the following week, we have Stephanie and Scott, who was on The Secrets of
Stephanie Burke and Scott Porter.
Yep, who were just on the Fox Nation show, The Secrets of the Asylum. So we're getting 2 weekends full of Eloise Asylum from the owner's side, and then what Scott and Stephanie experienced while filming that show. And I'm super excited because in just over a month, I will be at Eloise.
Of course, you're going
Asylum.
there, so I mean,
gosh, I'm only 20 minutes from Eloise when I go to Tim Malley's Polygraph of Pooches. How can I not stop by one of the most haunted locations in the Midwest? How can I not do that and walk around and take photos and just immerse myself with the spirits of Eloise? How can I not?
That is fair. I will give you that one.
You know me, Russ. If I'm traveling and I find a haunted location, I will be messaging that owner or whoever's running it and be like, hey, I'm in town. Can I stop by for a tour? Like,
if I'm traveling, I don't stop at haunted locations. I stop at like the Pez factory or a candy store or something like that.
Yeah, that doesn't satisfy me. Like,
that's just who I am. Remember
in May, I was stuck in Ohio for almost a week and a half, and
and you got a hold of me, and we're like, here, go here, go here, go here.
And now I'm going back to Madison in May again because I got hooked on it from just that day tour I had.
Which, Bonnie, by the way, I know you're going to try to go to Eloise. Please don't push yourself.
I know.
Take it easy. I'll yell at her.
And by the way, if you haven't watched Resident Undead, it's Adam Kimmel's YouTube channel. Check it out.
You got Adam, you got Addie, you got...
Yep. You got Shelly, you got Patience, you got Rebecca, you got everyone of their locations. Check out Resident Undead. Adam will be on.
We will be having them on here soon.
Yes. And I have all my merch ready for that show. But yeah, I'll be checking a few of Adam's locations this year, which I'm super excited.
Because he has Fairfield, Madison. Does
Fairfield
he run ISS?
Yeah. So Fairfield.
You just froze.
Billy
so you
Creek.
got Madison. Yeah, you got Madison. You got Fairfield. ISS. Billy Creek.
And there's 2 other locations he does.
Because I know they're doing that hotel or the old nursing home that they're about to start going.
Oh crap! Hold on. They just added him last year.
Yeah, I'm not really. We'll talk to him about his main ones right now, especially Mad Company and Foncon. Okay.
Pine Lawn, Old City Jail, Historic Stark Saloon, Billy Creek, Indiana State, Fairfield, and Madison.
Yep.
But there's been rumblings that he's buying a couple more, so we'll see.
All right,
So we'll
fantastic.
find out
All
with
right,
that
guys.
when he's on. So.
You guys have been amazing, and thank you so much for sticking out this long. You guys are absolute dolls. You guys are the greatest fans we could ever have. So
if you missed any of this episode, check it on Spotify. It'll be uploaded within the next hour and a half.
It'll be on Spotify. It'll be on YouTube. It'll be on Apple Music. It'll be on
Facebook,
Amazon
Twitter,
Music. You know, everything.
Everything.
So,
maybe I'll find a way to upload it to TikTok.
Definitely a great show you don't want to miss out on. Yep. Because it was such a laugh-worthy show. We had a moment of emotional there. We had some laughs, and we got down to some serious topics. So
definitely. So y'all, we'll see you back on Sunday. We have multiple special shows coming up. I'm super excited because one person just reached out to me during this show about coming on, which I've been trying for a year and a half to get him on. So I'm super excited. No, it's not Dakota. It's not Chelsea. It's not.
I'm not saying that, but your co-host would like to be in the loop here a little bit.
Maybe I'll surprise you.
No.
Hey, I haven't been able to message you because we were on the show. It's not my fault. But everyone have a great night. We will see you very soon this coming Sunday. Same place, same time, same host, unless one of us.
Same everything except clothes.
Yep. Yeah, no, not the same clothes. But you all have a great night. Have a great rest of the week, and we'll see you back Sunday. Where's my out video? There we go.